Hey, grace and peace and spoiler alert for the movie Fiddler on the Roof. Spoiler alert if somehow you managed to live this long and not see that movie or that play the way I had. I actually think I did see the play sometime when I was like really young, but it might have just been a couple of the songs. I don't know. Anyway, I finally saw the whole movie all the way through, so now I can understand the pop culture references from the baby boomers. And, pretty good movie. Doesn't exactly take a genius to find the theology in a movie like Fiddler on the Roof, but I'm going to talk about it anyway, because I talk about everything I see. I'd say I have three songs that I think stuck out to me that are worth talking about. One of them was Miracle of Miracles. I mean, I thought that was short of like Sabbath prayer, which is of course pretty theological. I thought Miracle of Miracles did an interesting job of like giving an actual theological viewpoint.
Wonder of wonders, miracle of miracles, I was afraid that God would frown. But like he did so long ago in Jericho, God just made a wall fall down.
So Model is ecstatic, he's happy, he's praising God, and his praise of God takes the form of a theological statement about the nature of miracles. He argues that miracles are potentially mundane, and that a miracle like God changing the heart of Tefsa is comparable to a miracle like God changing the heart of Pharaoh. That's a really beautiful and I think true way to think about our experience of theology and our experience of miracles. You know, it's one thing to say, oh, you know, the Lord moved in the nations and the armies were in this place or that place and God gave us victory. But the way God gives us victory, as often as not, is through like individual people being obedient or disobedient. So I thought that was a unique song. Of course, the central song that gets repeated throughout is the song Tradition.
Tradition, tradition, tradition.
Which I kind of thought, musically, I wasn't impressed. Which I know, like, John Williams was even involved in the music for this, but it's just too much. But anyway, theologically, really interesting story to be told, where you have Tefsa and he is consistently budging in his understanding of tradition and traditionality. That's what tradition does. That's how change takes root in religious communities. It takes root with the young people first, and it happens ever so surely and steadily. Traditions are made to be lost, and we can hang on to them and we can preserve them for a while, but over time they are going to change. And so we need to know that even when we create new traditions, that the nature of tradition is to pass on sunrise and sunset. And then finally, I want to return to, and again, this is stuff that I think anyone can notice, but it made me smile as I watched the movie, the If I Were a Rich Man song. And I'd heard that song. It had been around, in the stratosphere, in the popular culture, before watching the movie. But to pay attention to it in context, pay attention to Tefsa singing that song as a theological clarification, as part of his daily conversation, his daily prayer with the Almighty, asking, hey, why is it, Lord, theologically, that I couldn't be rich? Would it spoil some grand cosmic plan if I were a wealthy man? What would it ruin if I had a small fortune?
Lord, who made the lion and the lamb, you decreed I should be what I am. Would it spoil some vast eternal plan? If I were a wealthy man.
Such an interesting question, especially when wrapped in the burrito of this beloved play. This movie that so many have enjoyed, this story that has been so important to so many people's lives, because Tefsa is a fictional character, kind of a legendary character, but by this point, fictional, not a real person, a relatable person, a person who is similar to real people. And yeah, like if Tefsa weren't poor, if we didn't have If I Were a Rich Man, that would spoil a lot. That would ruin a great deal of the enjoyment and the art and the beauty that has come, and the truth that has come from Fiddler on the Roof. So like within this fictional community, it's very important that this creation be poor, because nobody wants to hear the story of Laser Wolf's family. And so what then does that say? You know, we get to be kind of a layer up. We get to be almost God's eye view, right? We're on the tier of the creators, right? I could write a play. It wouldn't be very good, but I could write it. And we see, you needed to be poor. Yeah, that made it better. I think that's a brilliant thing to think about. That's all I've got to say. What are your thoughts about Fiddler on the Roof? This is a responsive community. You know, that YouTube, believe it or not, is a social network. So drop me some comments. What's your favorite song and why? Why does it resonate with you? If anything resonates with you, my belief is that's because it's true. That there's some truth there, and all truth comes from God. So I hope you will think about those. Think theologically, and I hope you'll watch some of these other movies, and especially right down here, this is where you can see all the movies I've done. So if you haven't seen these, then you can click there and find some you have seen. Thanks.